Hi, it's Linda with CreativePLR.com. So today we're looking at things you put on the wall, and Etsy and everybody else calls them wall art, but when I think of art, I think of like Picasso or Van Gogh or something. So it's really hard for me to convert my thinking. But I've seen a lot of these things. It can be as simple as one word. Now, I've seen a lot of these on Etsy already. You can pick a word that's familiar to you, like believe, faith, hope, love, justice, kindness, whatever the word is, and you put the one word on for a printable, and they are just like that without the frame on them. And then what they do is you can sell an individual one with one word on it, and then you can bundle the one word printables together, and you can sell them as a bundle, and people, frame them, put them on their wall, and they have a whole collection of them. So I've seen this done. Okay, you have to use a really nice font because that's what makes it stand out. So Times Roman or Comic Sans probably isn't going to work. This is right now my two favorite fonts are Stay Wonderful and Rustic, and both of them I downloaded from Creative Fabrica. Now the nice thing about wall art, when you're selling it in a PDF form, or you're selling it as an image, a PNG image. So you don't have to worry about the font being okay for commercial uses because your end user can't extract it from your print. They're not going to be able to do that. So that is a good thing. I kind of, in my mind, while I could frame this, I would also mat it. And so you could use something simple like inserting a shape, and this is that little frame that I like using that looks like a box on here. And then you use this little yellow button to make it bigger or larger. I just think that small little, and even as tiny as that, just sets it off really good. And I made it dark red because I had a problem with it in black, but the gray works. Now, if you do use a color, you understand people are either going to be loving the color or hating the color, and they may want you to customize it, which is another option. You could offer their choice of color and then, give them swatches or something, have them tell you. And, if you have your template in a PowerPoint, you go in and swap it out. Now, I'm working with this today is a 10 by 12. So they sell wall art in all different sizes. Some people sell it in multiple sizes in one package. So you can, when you buy it, you download a zip file, and it could have an 8 by 10, a 10 by 12, a 12 by 16, 16 by 24, all different sizes in there, as well as international sizes. And of course, like the 8 by 10, people could print it off on their own home printer. And the larger sizes, they could take it to a local print shop. I think even places like the pharmacy, Walgreens, those kind of places have. Or you can go to a regular shipping store that has printing capabilities to print the larger sizes. Now, I'm kind of torn because I started doing wall art, and I'm selling it as a PDF. I'm also selling it as a PNG file. And usually what happens is, for instance, I've got a white background now, but what if somebody wanted to buy this, but they didn't want that white background? So I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my elements, and then I'm selling that as a PNG with transparent background. So I'm selling it with the white background. So I would save this slide as a PNG, and then I would also group all of my elements together, and I would save that as well. Now, if you're going to customize it with color, then, again, it only takes a few minutes to pull it up and change the color, and if you have a happy customer, then it's worth it. Now, you could do a whole bunch of these one word, or you could do a saying. And sayings from the Bible work really well too if you know your Bible. And today I can't think of one, but I do know there's some out there. Okay, something about when I'm recording, I can't think. So trust in the Lord works really good. I have centered it, and I do need to bump this down a little bit so it'll fit on the page. And so I'm going to probably make it 180. and that's not big enough, so let's go 200, and that works pretty good because it's there in the center, and it pretty much fills the, and so let me ungroup it, and then if you want to put your frame back, you can. So you could do one word, or you could do sayings, and I obviously need to center this. Oh, there we go, right there. That's my crosshairs. Okay, so you could do that. You could also put a little bit, and you know I'm the paper queen, and so you could also put paper in there and fill it. And so let's format and picture, and then I'm just going to find something random. Not that. That's going to be a little odd. Not Halloween. That would be a little odd too. But I could go with something like that. Okay. And you're not going to get very much of a design. You're just going to get some texture there. And it could be that instead of putting it in black, since I put that on there, that you want to go over on your font color and use the little eyedropper and actually do that. That looks pretty good. Okay. But so don't worry about, when you do this, you can either fill it with a color, or you can fill it with your paper, and the paper is just going to give it some texture. It's not going to really take away from the design. So you could do one word, you could do a saying, you could do lots of sayings. Okay, it's all kinds of sayings. Or now, I didn't come up with this saying. I saw this saying somewhere else, and I said, this is so summer. And so you could just sell this like it is, or you could put some clip art with it. And insert pictures from this device, and let's see what we have. I think I have clip art, just a summer beach, and I like that. I like that, and I'm going to stick with my rule of 3, and let's do that. And then obviously I have to shrink down everything. I actually, now that I've got that on there, I actually do off, because I kind of like that. And when I'm recording my computer, I kind of like the sailboat in back of the words. And what I would do is, you notice down here where it's a little bit darker, that it's kind of almost hard to see. And so what I would do is I would go to picture format, and then I would increase the transparency just a little bit so that you can see that. And I love that. So, art is very subjective. It's whatever makes you happy. And right now this is making me happy. And so, so this works great for me. So I like a little clip art with mine. Can I deal with this? I really can. I like this because I have enough color and texture in it that it really works for me. The one word that I had there, the believe, that's a little dicey for me, but I could do that. But this works really great for me. I also did this one earlier, and I had this little sand scene, and I'll show you exactly how I did this. And I had that, and then I also I had a sun here. And this, you're going to have to stretch it out. Now, I think what I especially liked about this clip art was that it had the rough edges on there. And you notice when you scroll down on PowerPoint, it goes to the next slide. Here's a little tip for you. If you want to do this, like insert a shape, and I'll just put it over here. It doesn't matter what the shape is. And then you scroll down and you put it underneath your slide. And, you'll notice that now when you're working with PowerPoint, you can get to the bottom of the slide without worrying about going to the next slide. Just thought I'd throw that in. That's a little trick that I learned somewhere else. You can do the same thing on the top as well, that little shape up there. And so this scene that has the ragged edge on it almost gives it its own. And so what I did was I took this saying, salt in the air and sand in my hair, and I had already the text on it like I did for the first one we did, and then I just bumped it up until it fit in there. Now, same thing as before. If you want your words to stand out, I do like the clip art there, and I do like the color there, but it makes it hard to see the words and for the words to stand out. So if you go to picture format with your transparency and you just change that just a little bit, and that is enough. And if you'd like it more, you can do that, but that works great. Now on my font, I did use the bold font, and it was important to me that the words fit inside the image, because I'm thinking of this as like a little frame. I did let my sun hang slightly out, but I kept all the words inside. And I even liked the fact, since I have a sun over here, I like the fact that I used it left justified so that it's on this side rather than, and I'll show you what it looks like, rather than it all centered. I didn't like that as well because it looked unbalanced to me. So I like the fact that the sun's over here and this is left justified to kind of balance it out. And then I would save this as, I would group the elements. I would save this as a picture, and remember, you go to options and you change your options to 330 DPI, not high fidelity. And I would save this as a PNG picture. I would also save this as a 10 by 12. I would also save it as save the slide as an image, and I would save the slide as a PDF. Now, one other thing that I want to mention, and we'll do it with this one. This is a 10 by 12, and I want you to be aware that you can go ahead and you can change this rather than starting from scratch. You can change this into an 8 by 10. And let's just do that. Let's do it 8 by 10. And I'm going to maximize it. And let's see. You'll notice that it changed it changed the slide size, but it didn't change your image. And if you keep the grouping together, what happens is it's a little bit off. And so you're going to have to change and kind of not reformat, but kind of like just redesign a little bit and move things around. Because what happens is a 10 by 12 and an 8 by 10 are not, and I'm going to ungroup it to do this, they're not in the same ratio. And I won't go into detail because I'm a math teacher and your eyes would start to glaze over. They're not in the same ratio, and so you're going to not have it look exactly the same. And it's easily fixed. I'm going to take down the font just a little bit. I'm going to move my scene in just to here so I get that nice frame on the edge. And then I'm going to reposition my words, and I'm going to probably take my sun down a little bit. Nobody needs that much sun. And then it's ready to go. So it only took a few seconds to actually do that. But you can't simply just make it a different size and think that's going to work. You have to go in into a bit to make it look great. Okay, hope this was helpful. This is the beach version, and in a few weeks we're going to be starting to work on our Halloween items and our Christmas items, and so I have a couple more versions of this wall art to share with you for those. So until then, keep creating, and hit me up, tag me, or share some of your designs. I'd love to see what you're creating.